Welcome to the Ballroom Dance Channel. We are a worldwide community of ballroom dancers who meet here every day to chat all things ballroom dance. Okay, today's letter. Hi, Sunny. I have some dance shoe questions. Is it possible to dance to your full potential if you're not wearing legitimate ballroom shoes and not even the practice shoes? I keep telling my dance friends that even after a few years of dancing, even if they're not doing the hardcore comps yet, if they're doing studio matches or shows, they are missing out by sticking to those basic, cheap Amazon pairs. While they are cheaper and they're more sparkly and they look beautiful and they save money, do they provide the same structural support as those professional grade shoes? Okay, so here's my 2 cents. Number 1, different brands work well for different people. So I can only paint with a broad brush here. For me, I only wear Supa Dance. I have purchased cheap shoes for a giveaway I did on my channel years ago where I did a test drive of those cheap brands you can find online. And I found them super cheap. And I tried them on and I ended up giving them away to our viewers on the channel at that time. Anyway, I can give you my anecdotal observation from that brief time I tried on the shoes before I sent them out. From my experience, they were actually very high quality. I don't know if you've had a chance to try out those cheap pair, but just because they're cheap doesn't necessarily mean they're illegitimate. But I don't know what the long-term durability of those would be, and that would be my larger concern. And you'd mentioned something very important here, the practice shoes. Frankly, guys, that's the most important shoe. I know we all want the best comp results, but guess which shoe you're probably wearing the most? The practice shoe. So which shoe are you most likely to hurt yourself in? The practice shoe. That bad boy's got to be super comfy and fit you like a glove. So next time you're at a comp, social dancer, show dancer, competitor, for Pete's sake, take that opportunity to try on those more expensive shoes because you don't know what magic you might be missing out on. Okay. True story, I have a long-term social dance student. I've been telling him for 10 years, you need to get shoes. He's had a knee replacement surgery in that time and he's been dancing in his work shoes. I think they might even be rubber soled. He's been dancing in those bad boys this whole time and he's a pretty good dancer by now. Well, I've been sending him links for years and I understand. We're like, oh, I don't need that. I dance fine this way. I'm going to save the money. I was that same way for years, not taking the expensive lessons and regret that mistake. Well, finally he caved. I don't know if it was a Black Friday sale or what. On Amazon, he bought those dance shoes and he's like, whoa, Sonny, that's a game changer. I'm like, told you so. It's like, it's so much easier. Yes, it is, my friend. So I don't know exactly what you mean by legit dance shoes, but certainly better than street shoes. Now, anytime I get a beginner, meaning they have no acceleration, no flight, no rotation, they're just tromping through the steps, I don't even know if they're going to stick to ballroom dancing. At that point, they see what they think is fancy shoes. Oh, where do you get this? I want to get this. Well, you know what? Let's just get you through a few lessons first and just make sure it's something you like before you drop the big dollars on that. Not that I don't want everyone to have the best equipment, but I do think there are some people that are in the stage of the game where their money's just better spent on those dance lessons because they don't really need that high quality shoe. They could probably show up in a pair of flip-flops. And certainly a wedding couple, they're not going to be wearing dance shoes at their wedding, right? They're going to be wearing their crazy wedge, whatever. I'm just like, yeah, just bring those wedding shoes and we'll roll with those. Now, regarding dancing to your potential, I've heard from other people who have purchased those cheap pairs that sometimes the inner sole rolls up. So there's a little fabric sheet inside of your shoe. And it might have a slight foam under pad to it to soften your foot connection to the shoe. Well, I've heard over time the back of that thing or the front of the thing kind of roll up. That'd be super uncomfy. I also can't help but wonder if you're dancing at a high level. And guys, that would include people who are dancing in shows or very experienced social dancers. You've got a lot of foot pressure there and articulation. You are working that undersole hard. So that's the bottom part of the shoe, that kind of firm part that holds it together. So unless you're dancing in a split sole practice shoe, even then you're going to have parts of that shoe that are just really firm. I wonder if that breaks down easier. Maybe they use some cheap sort of press board in there. I don't know. Hey guys, if you have long-term experience with those cheap online shoes, give us a shout out in the comments and let us know your experience, because I can only tell you from very short-term experience, literally trying them on for you in a video and then mailing them to the winners of the contests I ran. I don't know. They look pretty, like you said. That doesn't mean they're going to work well in a month. Also, in terms of the durability, the outside, someone sent another letter expressing concern over the outside of their shoe, the satin just like wearing off after one practice. I don't know if that was an expensive shoe. I think they said it was. So, you know what? You can get a crummy shoe and spend a lot for it. But in my experience, you get what you pay for. Not always, but often. And finally, if you have a shoe that's worked well for you, if you can give us a link to that in the comments, describe the brand, the price, ideally a link to where we can buy it, and then most important, the shape of your foot. Okay, so for me, I love Super Dance, but I have a relatively narrow foot. Doesn't officially qualify as narrow, but the heel probably does. If I were to have a custom-made shoe, my heel of my foot is quite slender. I find other brands that are really expensive, like wearing snowshoes or something, just crazy, giant, like dancing in Crocs. So depends on the build of your foot. Anyway, please keep your wonderful questions coming. And yeah, best of luck finding some awesome dance shoes. That does make a difference in your dancing. That fit is key. Okay, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, guys. Doodles!